Hey everybody, Donnie RightSide here. Bookmakers review divisional round NFL action. It's so close that I can taste it. One of my favorite weekly videos that I do here at Bookmakers Review is putting teams on upset alert. But I got a caveat today. All four of these teams we're going to go over, I'm not so sure if they're even going to be upset. Why? I think all four favorites actually win this weekend. So we're going to change this video up just a little bit here, and we're going to play some devil's advocate. We're going to take a look at each individual game itself, and I'll tell you why there's a chance or a path of why the favorite can be knocked off. But preface this by saying, your boy DRS is not betting against any one of these teams that are laying points as opposed to catching points. Let's get after it here. Game number 1, 301-302, Saturday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern kickoff. That's in Kansas City. Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs. Taking a look at this game, minus 8.5 across the board with a total of 52.5. Now, if we're going to put the Kansas City Chiefs on upset alert, what has to happen? Trevor Lawrence can't throw 4 interceptions, and the Jacksonville Jaguars can't have 5 total turnovers in a football game. Otherwise, they're going to get smoked. You have to turn the tables. You have to turn Patrick Mahomes over at this point. You have to actually bet on saying to yourself, being rested is not going to get them ready for Kansas City, even though Andy Reid is a sensational, maybe the best coach in the history of the NFL at coming off of a bye. Trevor Lawrence will have to excel. Travis Etienne is probably the key to this entire game. If he can get over 100 yards on the ground, that's going to put Jacksonville in play to be hanging around late in this game with a chance to steal it. Mahomes in that offense, they're going to score points, no question about it. And maybe you can lean on the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 straight weeks de facto playoff games that they have played, beating the Titans, followed up by beating the Chargers here. So if we're going to put the Kansas City Chiefs on upset alert, it's as simple as this. Patrick Mahomes has to play poorly. You're looking at Trevor Lawrence has to be excelling at his job, and also Travis Etienne controlling everything in that ground game. That's what it's going to take to put the Kansas City Chiefs on upset alert. Game number 2, Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, live from South Philadelphia on Saturday night. Kickoff at 8:15 Eastern. The line currently sits here with the Philadelphia Eagles as a favorite, minus 7.5. The total listed at 48. I do think we get some points in this game, but if we're going to put the Philadelphia Eagles on upset alert, here's how we're going to do it. Daniel Jones must, and I repeat must, rush for at least 100 yards on the ground. Saquon Barkley must approach 100 yards on the ground. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that's what it takes to knock off a number 1 seed. Also, from an Eagles perspective here, if you're analyzing this game, it comes down to Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts' shoulder is not recovered from his injury against the Chicago Bears, where he missed a few football games, came back in the last game of the season to beat the Giants, that's going to be a key. But if we're being honest with ourselves, the Giants don't match up in any category with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to take some Herculean efforts by Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley to control the ground game. The Eagles will have to play extremely poorly, including Jalen Hurts not being able to run the football effectively because his shoulder is hurt. That is the way that the New York Giants can put the Philadelphia Eagles on upset alert. Game number 3, we'll talk about 3:15, 3:16, the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. That line currently sitting at 5.5 and a total of 48.5. Upset alert here, obviously, for the Buffalo Bills. How does that take place? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Boyd in the slot are going to absolutely go off, and they can actually do that. Also, where have you been, Mixon, on the ground? Where has that running game been on the ground here for the Cincinnati Bengals? It must reappear for this divisional round matchup. The only problem with Cincinnati here is that offensive line is banged up, so you're going to need some great performances from some backup players that aren't used to prime time in order to thrust you into this market. And also, leaning on last year, we didn't expect a whole heck of a lot from the Bengals once they got to the playoffs. They made it to the Super Bowl and were then in possession of actually winning the championship. That's the pathway from their end. Also, from a Buffalo Bills angle, if you get bad Josh Allen, bizarro world Josh Allen, that's going to help you out, which means 3 touchdown passes along with 3 turnovers for Josh Allen. Let's see what happens here in that game, but if the Bills are going to be on upset alert, Joe Burrow better get out there and absolutely be filthy. The next game we're going to talk about, the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. The final game of the divisional round weekend, which is going to kick off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Looking at this line, 3.5s across the board. If we put San Francisco on upset alert, why? Dak Prescott has to continue being elite through a ton of interceptions in the regular season, looked terrible against the Commanders to end the year, but turned a gem on Monday Night Football against Todd Bowles' Buccaneers defense here. Sensational performance. He must duplicate that. Tony Pollard, he must get at least 75 rushing yards on the ground and be elite out of the backfield. Zeke Elliott, just going to need you to convert some fourth and shorts and some goal line situations here to be advantageous and shoe field goals. Why? You don't want the field goals because Maher can't kick any here. Maybe that's a boon. 4th and 2, 4th and 3 from the 17-yard line. Maybe you kick a field goal. Now you might be going for touchdowns instead. And when you're the underdog, that's how you have to play if you want to win. So if we're looking from a Cowboys perspective, give me a lot of Pollard. Give me elite Dak Prescott here. Let Micah Parsons get after it on the defensive line. And also for the 49ers, it's still Purdy. He's still a young quarterback. I understand how well he's played, and I actually expect him to play well in this game against the Cowboys. But if there's any inkling here that he reverts back to rookie status, that is your chance for the Dallas Cowboys. So recap of the video. I actually don't think, once again, that any of these favorites are going to get beat, but maybe we can lay out that pathway to victory if you feel you have an opportunity to pull upset alert. I'm Donnie RightSide for Bookmakers Review, and as always, good luck on those wagers.